Well, good evening, everybody. This is John, Matt, and Tony on the Friday night show. Thank you for joining us. We record this on Monday. You'll be watching it on Friday. Matt is he's about 5,500 miles away in Canada. That might be changing, so to watch this space. So, Matt, without further ado, if you could please just give us an update or give us a brief synopsis of who you are, what you've done for the last 3 years in Canada, and maybe your news, mate.
That's it. It's like blind date, isn't it? Who you are, where'd you come from, kind of thing. It's
Yeah, and you
behind
look
the
at the bottom.
door.
You look in the bottom of the screen, and you see me.
So I'm not pretty enough for blind date. That's the thing. No, thanks guys for having me on. It's lovely to chat with you and have that time together. So yeah, Matt Williams. I was, I suppose, going all the way back. I was a helicopter pilot in the Air Force, on the front line, flying Puma 1 and Puma 2, all over the world. I then became the youngest helicopter instructor in the Air Force at 26, and taught at the Defence Helicopter Flying School. And all along the whole kind of journey of me being a full-sized aviator, I used to get bantered remorselessly at work every day because I flew model helicopters and model planes. And which, as you can imagine, right, went down really well with the guys in the military. And and unfortunately, my military career got cut short. I had an accident when I was flying a Puma one night, just as my wife and I had moved up to Linton-on-Ouse to fly I'd been streamed fast jet after kind of 10 years flying helicopters, and was set to start at Linton-on-Ouse. My second to last trip on the Puma, my seat collapsed in turbulence and I broke 2 vertebrae in my neck.
Wow.
So got discharged from the Air Force. And my wife and I had just got married, kind of 8-9 months before. She was 6 months pregnant with our first baby, and we were like, damn it, what do we do now?
Wow.
So I'm in a hospital bed learning to kind of get up and move again and get mobile again. And long story short, we saw that the drone thing was coming because we'd been flying big model helicopters with cameras on. While I was in the military at the weekends, I was doing that for kind of film and TV before the drone thing came along. And we saw that this was coming, right? It was 2000 to 2010. I started flying the helicopters with cameras on. 2013 was when I had the accident, and there weren't really any proper drone rules at the time. They just started to come out. Drones were we just started getting the build your own drones. The first kind of Phantoms weren't out yet. We were on the old flame wheel type stuff if you were flying drones. And we saw it coming. So we were like, there are going to be regulations around this. Let's try and set up a school. So we did. And we set up what became the largest drone training school in the world, UAV Hub. Ran that for 10 years. Very successfully. We trained 66,500 people over the 10 years. So I think, yeah, that's it. So just a few people, right? And alongside that, I did a lot of operations all over the world as well. So I flew heavy lift and super heavy lift drones out for mainly live sports broadcasts. So did the first ever live international sports broadcast from a drone, chasing the America's Cup boats around in Bermuda for 6 weeks. I've had worse holidays. I'm not going to lie to you. But it's hard work, it's time away from home, and you're bouncing around on a boat chasing these America's Cup boats down the course all day, every day. But yeah, we kind of pioneered that side of the industry, and obviously now they're doing that with very small drones for the Formula One and all sorts of sports, right? It's amazing how that technology's come on, but that's where we are. So we did operations to a very high level all over the world, James Bond movies, Star Wars movies, all sorts of stuff, and then the live sports stuff and the drone school as well.
Do you know what the moral of the story is?
What's that?
It's safer to fly small drones.
Yeah. And large ones as well, funny old thing.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm not being funny,
it.
Matt, but you can't be very old.
That's very kind. I've had an easy paper round, I guess. No, that's why I have the beard, because I look about 12 years old if I don't have a bit of stubble. But this is 3 months worth of growth. But no, I'm 42 now. I left during the military at 18, and did 12 years there. Had the accident when I was 30, and built UAV Hub from then, really. So, yeah, no messing around. That's the big thing, right? It's just thinking. And again, I suppose this comes down to what we're going to talk about later, that whole business piece, where it's like it's very easy to sit and talk about things and think about things and procrastinate on it. But actually, at some point, you've just got to go, do you know what? Nothing's going to happen if I sit here thinking about it or making plans or, you've just got to get on with it, bite the bullet and crack on.
Yeah, as the saying goes, if you don't ask, you don't get. If you don't ask, you're just going to be stuck there in a box doing nothing.
Yeah, that's it.
So what's the news then, Matt? I was using exclusive now. So
yeah, he wants to get straight to it. You need to hold that to the end.
No. You've got two bits of news you want to share. So,
we have. Yeah, so a couple of years ago, for anyone who doesn't know, my family and I moved out to Canada from the UK to expand UAV Hub and the drone training business over here. That went quite well, and actually within a couple of months, we were actually acquired by a Canadian company, Canadian public company, and it was an interesting journey. Again, I think a lot of people who are aware of that think that it went Matt's made millions from selling his company and blah blah blah. I would have done if I'd stuck around to the end of the earn-out period, but within a couple of weeks of joining the company, we got no money for UAV Hub at all. No money at all changed hands. It was all, there was a little bit of shareholder equity up front. And again, all of that's publicly available. A little bit of shareholder equity up front for my wife and I, who built the company. And then it was a 3-year earn-out that was going to be worth a lot of money. And I found a few things that didn't align with my values once I joined the new company, and left within a couple of weeks, and sacrificed the earn-out potential and opportunity for my integrity and reputation, which is worth more to me than, we don't have much money, right? It's worth way more to me than to be able to do it again in the future and help people out and do things the right way, rather than be the guy grabbing all the cash and not caring about the community.
Yeah, but the kudos is you helped 65,000 people improve their drone knowledge and everything.
That's it, and that's still going, right? Like, you look at UAV. I've not been at UAV Hub for 2 years now. You look at the reviews there, and every day there's more and more reviews going up on the website. I don't want you to go and look at UAV Hub, by the way. That's part of the news that's coming. But
no, but we will put a link in there.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, there's obviously a lot of people still going through that course, which is incredible. But it didn't work out. The immigration situation in Canada as well means that we can't stay here. So I suppose the first big piece of news is that for us is that my family and I are moving back to the UK in a couple of weeks' time. So, which is quite exciting, actually.
Yeah, we've got a road show booked to me then. We've got a bit of flying coming up then.
That's it. Yeah, your next road trip. It's not to Liverpool. It's to Staffordshire.
Yeah, well, funny place. we got a couple of things coming off. We got some news I'll share with you later on, but we got some news coming on Wednesday. 2 bits of news on Wednesday, so I will share that with you when we finish tonight. So yeah, nice. Absolutely.
You do know you can share that news now, because this show won't go out until after Wednesday.
Yeah, but Wednesday I'm at Portsmouth. Today's Monday. I don't find out about the second bit until. Well, anyway, let's wait until Friday. Okay.
In suspense.
So he's just twisted your arm to get your news, but he won't give us his news.
That's it.
Hey, that's blackmail.
No. We
yes.
we have mentioned Standing with Giants and a project around the UK. So that will be announced on Wednesday. This comes out on Friday. There's a second part to it, but that meeting hasn't happened yet. So how can I have a discussion now if this is going on Friday? Anyway, yeah. We're digressing. What
you need to do is have the two discussions, depending on which way it goes, then edit one out and leave the other one in. Make it like a Netflix special where the user can decide which way they want to go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Matt, you don't know my history. I sometimes press the wrong buttons on here, so I'll put the wrong edit on.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Anyway, sorry, we're diverging. We're going miles off on a tangent here, aren't we?
Yeah. And the second bit of news.
Oh, just splashed my Gatorade in my face. How very professional. Yeah, the second bit of news, talking about the UAV Hub piece, because of everything that's happened, and so many people have been getting in touch with me saying, like, we really miss you, we really miss the training that you do. Thank you. by the way, to everyone who has reached out on that side of things. But we're launching a new drone training company in the UK, blueskiesdronetraining.com.
Say it again.
So blueskiesdronetraining.com, because I always sign off with that fly safe and blue skies, right? So so Blue Skies Drone Training, and it's going to be we're working with the CAA at the moment while we're kind of writing this, or while we're filming this, we're writing all of the paperwork with the CAA. And yeah, if you're interested in getting your A2, we're only going to be doing the A2. We're not going to, at the moment, kind of do the GVC or the L1, L2. We want to look after a very specific segment of the market, and that's the people who.
So remind the listeners who are watching now, what the A2 license is and what benefits to have it.
Yeah, so I suppose in a way it depends. If your drone is a very small drone, then actually you can exercise the rights that you get with the A2 anyway, without having to do much other than your operator ID and your flyer ID kind of side of things. But with the A2, you can fly slightly larger drones over people in a lot of circumstances. You can fly, particularly once we get access to the C markings or the UK markings as we're adopting now, and the crossover between the two. All of a sudden, it opens up an entirely new world of you being able to fly drones in places that traditionally you needed actually an OSC, so an operating safety case, in a lot of cases, to fly over built-up areas and fly potentially over people in certain circumstances if you can justify the risk and do the right calculations. There's other bits in there as well, like the one-to-one rules, so that you can actually fly really close to buildings and uninvolved people, even with slightly larger drones. If you've got your A2 CFC, you just have to abide by certain criteria. I won't, there's no point getting into it now, but it's a really flexible, I think, qualification now that, and it's like, oh yeah, he's always going to say this because he wants people to buy it. I genuinely don't care. We've always given our training away for free. That's not necessarily what we're doing at Blue Skies, but we will be on the YouTube channel. But it's one of those where if you want to be safe and understand how to fly safely and properly, then actually it's a really, hopefully interesting 3 or 4 hours of training. Although you've got to listen to me and look at my ugly mug for a couple of hours, right? But hopefully a couple of interesting hours of training as to why we need to, the frustrations of only being allowed to fly 120 meters now if you're flying a DJI C0 and stuff like that. Why does that exist? And actually, once you start to understand the why behind it, and why do we need certain flashing lights on our drones? Why are the restrictions what they are? Actually, all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. And hopefully,
but
it makes everyone safer.
Yeah. It's really good because we have a lot of people who are new. And when I started new 5 years ago, I didn't know where I was going, and then you'll go on Facebook and you'll go on. We all join all the groups on Facebook, and you'll put that question in, and you'll get that reply. Use Google, and you're thinking, that's not what I want. I want somebody with knowledge. I want somebody who's going to help me. And the likes of people going to yourself, at least they know your stuff, and you're going to tell them a straight answer. Not going to tell them off and say, don't ask silly questions. Because in the job that I work at, they said, Tony, there's no such thing as a silly question.
Yep, and it's so true, right? And one of the most dangerous things in aviation is people either thinking that they know the answer or claiming that they know the answer and they don't, or actually even more frustrating, it's not more dangerous, but more frustratingly, is people thinking that they daren't ask someone a question because they don't want to feel stupid or be made to look stupid or whatever it might be. And it's like, no, we're all in this together. Like my mates, and actually me, potentially in the future, are flying around at low level in our helicopters, fast jets, whatever it might be. I want to try and keep as many of those safe as possible. Yep. And I am convinced that one of the reasons that there hasn't yet, touch wood, there hasn't been an accident in the UK in particular between, where a drone and a helicopter or whatever have collided, is partially because we've taught so many people, right? I've got that message out to so many people, as have many of the other companies. So by doing that, and all of us being a community and helping each other learn, build and grow all the time, it's the only way to make sure we can all keep enjoying what we do.
It's quite funny. I was talking to someone up in Scotland about the A2 courses and stuff, and I just pulled out a few things, sent it on to him to have a look at. And I look at it again going, I forgot about that. Well, I forgot. We're not all brilliant. We're not all perfect, and sometimes you sit there and go, maybe a little refresher doesn't hurt to remember what you actually can and can't do, because we're all going to get the Steve with a drone down the road. We're going to get the lady approach you saying you can't fly that here. So it's nice to know sometimes.
Yeah.
Just to
I have a little claim to fame. I did my A2 CFC. I got 100%, and I
Nice.
watched Ian from London's video when he said, "I've done a test and I only got 95%." I thought, yes, I beat Ian from London. he,
Amazing.
yeah, he got a question wrong about the clouds, but then I was thinking, why are we asking about cumulus clouds and stuff like this? But when you sit and read it all and you have it in your head, then you
Yeah.
get to know why that question was in there, the same as with all the other stuff.
Yeah.
No, that's
it.
good. Well, I look forward to you coming back to the UK and the blue sky business going forward. But the reason you're
Yeah.
on here today, Matt, is to talk about how you're helping businesses, especially drone businesses, start up, move, grow, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Now, for those who don't know, me and Matt have been talking uh, quite a bit now for the last 4 or 5 months, and we talked about some of the mistakes that I made, some of the ideas that he had, and I implemented some of those things recently. Now, for those you don't know, or most of you will know, I just launched a brand new website, and a lot of the feature sets behind that have been ideas that I've had, but being focused from what Matt said about we won't do red bean, blue bean today, but we'll talk about those benefits moving forward. So,
Nice
Matt,
logo.
what? Yeah, my new logo. Thank you. Yeah. So I know Matt's been busy, probably hasn't had a chance to see my website. But one of the things that Matt is very keen about is not having a website that has, well, I do roof inspections, I do weddings, I do this, I do that. Well, I don't. I know very, very clearly now where I'm going, what I'm doing. I've got business coming in now every single day. So, Matt, just talk about the biggest mistakes that are made by new up and coming drone pilots. The Steve down the road who's got a drone, he wants to charge 20 quid. Talk about where the biggest mistakes are, in your eyes that they're making at the moment.
Yeah, it's a really interesting question, right? Because there are a whole over the years, obviously taught a lot of people the qualification side of things, but have taught over 1,000, kind of personally coached more than 1,000 drone business owners now.
Yeah.
And the same questions always come out. The same, I'm going to say mistakes, but they're not mistakes, because how can there be a mistake if you don't know that it's a mistake, right? Like you're trying to do what you know with what you've got. And I think the biggest part of that is thinking that by getting a drone and having a website and getting a certification or whatever it might be, those three things, people think that work is automatically going to come to them. And then they get really, 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 really frustrated and, pardon my French, pissed off with the industry, because they're like, how come John is getting loads of work and is out all the time doing all this stuff, and he's got a drone and a website and his qualifications, and it's not working for me? This is rubbish. The industry's saturated. And actually, it is saturated. It is massively saturated with people who have got a drone, got a website, got their qualification, and think that work's going to come to them. The people that you see pop out of that are the people, so you end up as a red jelly bean. But the people who kind of pop out of that, here's one I prepared earlier, the people who pop out of that are the people who start to think differently, or they bring something slightly different to the industry or to their business that makes them stand out from everybody else, makes them stand out from all those red jelly beans, and makes them, as I say, the blue jelly bean that stands out from all the red jelly beans. Does that make sense? Does that answer the question?
Yeah, perfect sense. Absolutely. What I'll do, just for people watching now, at the end of the show, I will put Matt's details, everything, his YouTube, all his blogs that he does. And if you are currently looking to grow businesses or grow your business, whatever, it's a must watch. They are short, bite size, and I've watched all of them, and they're phenomenal. And also, Matt does a podcast on other people who've been in business, who are in business, and ask them what are the secrets are and where they're doing it. But I do want to touch on one thing. We'll just touch on it very quickly. You're saying the marketplace is definitely saturated. I don't think it is. So again, we're not going to agree on everything. Why
Yep.
do you think that it is absolutely saturated?
Yeah, it's a really good spot, right? And this is a critical thing that people need to understand when I say that I feel as though it's saturated. It is absolutely saturated with people who get those three things in place. They get the drone, get their website, and get their qualification. They're 10 a penny, right? Out
Yeah.
there. It isn't saturated as soon as you start to then go through the 5 simple things, for example, that I talk about on the website all the time, where you pick a niche, you start to do some outreach to people, you start to learn about marketing, you start to learn about sales, you start to learn about how to deliver a product and this is the key. As soon as you realize that it's saturated with those things, and if you're fighting with those people, the only thing you can win on is price. That's
Yeah.
why, because everyone's offering the same thing. So all of a sudden, you've got 1,000 people who can come and take a photo, take a photo of your house to put it up for sale. You've got 1,000 people who can you come and do a little roof survey and my chimney pot's leaking? Can you come and check it for me? There's 1,000 people with a Mini 3 and whatever it might be in your town who can do that. Dave with his drone from down the road, whatever it might be. 50 quid, yeah, I'll come do it. Wicked. What there aren't 1,000 people doing is saying, I am a professional at, or I specialize in, and
Yeah.
you can use the same equipment. But
Yeah.
if you're the person in your local town who, whenever there is an issue with someone's roof, they go, oh, what you want to do, you want to give John a call because he can come and do it, and he'll give you a report that you can then give to a builder and they can then act on it. Or you can give it to the insurance and they
Yeah.
can act on it. And that's worth 450 quid because you're solving a pain point. You're providing
Yeah.
a solution to a pain point that a person's got at the time. And that's the big difference. So it is, I would say, 100% saturated with people offering nothing, offering everything, but actually offering nothing. But it is ripe for the taking for people who spend a bit of time doing some personal development, spend a bit of time reading a how to sell and, psychology of selling book, listen to a couple of podcasts about how people, there's a couple of great podcasts. There's one called My First Million, which is really interesting to listen to. They get people on all the time. I don't know. For me, that's the way I think about it. It's,
To me, with that, it's if you come across professional, you come across, you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing, you know how you're going to present it, you know what you're going to offer them at the end of it. As John says, it's saturated by, you've got, as you just said, Dave down the road, Johnny down the road. Oh, I'll do it for 50 quid. He might do it for 50 quid, but he's not going to do it properly.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like the word of mouth. We said, well, he did a survey, he's done it properly. Oh, he's given me all these, a full report, the whole lot. If you tell that to somebody else, they're going to pass that on. You want the better word of mouth, not the bit of word. Oh, he'll do it for 20 quid, because you don't want that. You want
yeah,
them to think, I don't want to be considered as oh, Tony's cheap down the road. But I want it to be. You want them to know that you're professional, you know what you're doing, and you do it a lot more than what Bob
Yeah.
the Builder does.
yeah,
I think also one of the motivations, because and I'm not trying to repeat myself here 2 or 3 times, but as you know, Matt, I've just changed my website, and my website does one thing. It says one thing.
yeah,
One part what I do. This is what I do. This is how I do it. This is the problem. This is the solution. This is how I do it. Click here, and I'll come and see you.
yeah,
That's the prices. Take it or leave it. And I've now removed all the other faff, all the other clutter that was there that could have been a little bit confusing. So, but people say, "Oh, hang on a second, but you're going to miss out on that opportunity or that opportunity or this opportunity." Well, actually, you're not, because when you're focusing on one bit, which is, for me, I've got a campaign that comes out next week, and it's called Stop the Scroll.
okay,
It's about creating content that stops people from just, you've only got 3 seconds or one blink of an eye before someone scrolls on, and you've got to be able to stop that scroll, get them to focus on that product or brand or call to action. And that's what I'm going to focus on, because that's what I've been good at, and that's what I have been doing over the last 6 months. And having talked to you, I have completely stripped away. And over the last sort of 2-3 weeks, I'm now only being contacted about what I do, what I'm good at, and I'm there going, yeah, 350 a day, 450 a day, 250 for editing, whatever.
yeah,
So I can speak from a personal point of view. If you listen to what Matt says, then you may not agree with what Matt says. I don't agree with everything Matt says, but there's most things that he says that is absolutely right. But what would you say, Matt? Yeah, for somebody who is watching the program here, the show, and I know two people that have approached me in the last week going, I want to learn and listen. What's the two biggest mistakes that are made by new drone pilots who don't listen and they sit there and just get absolutely no. I know you're told what they should be doing, but what are the two biggest mistakes?
I think the two biggest mistakes we see are people trying to sell everything to anybody. When you try and do that, and there's a whole bunch of reasons, right? We could talk about this for 3 days at a conference if we wanted to. But the problem is when you try and sell everything to anybody, you can't put messaging out in the wild
Yeah,
that's designed to attract that person that you can provide a solution for. So you end up having to make your marketing and your website, because it's ultimately that is marketing. You end up making your website and your Facebook posts and all that, your LinkedIn, everything ends up being so generic that it just looks like it's been written by AI, and no one gets to know you, no one gets to like you and trust you, so no one comes to you.
yeah,
And I think that for me is the main mistake. At first, yes, potentially you have to try different things. You have to maybe have a few different services on your website. I'm not saying you can't start off as a generalist, particularly if you're doing it alongside, a full-time job or whatever it might be, trying to get up and running. But when you make that decision, when you want to start getting some serious revenue and proper sales and things like that, you have to choose a certain client to go for, and you have to choose something that you're going to offer to that segment of the market. It's why.
Oh,
Go on, sorry.
it's a very valid point, because one of the questions here from one of our members has says, I've got a full-time job, I've got a Mini Pro 4, I'm about to enter the market. What would your advice be? Do you keep the job going? That's going to be quite common, because I was no different from a full-time job. I did it as a hobbyist, and then more and more got into it. But if someone's got a full-time job, they've got a Mini Pro 4, decent drone will do footage either way, portrait, landscape. Where would you say the pitfalls are for them to focus on to start? Would you say go full beans or incremental increases?
So I think on that side, it very much depends on what your situation is, right? And don't do anything that is going to jeopardize being able to pay the bills, look after your family, whatever it might be. And I would say, unless you've got the financial means to do so, just keep doing what you're doing, work-wise,
Yeah.
and build everything up slowly in the background. And that kind of it seems like common sense, but I think from the people I've seen,
I can make a point
sometimes
on
doesn't
that.
happen.
Yeah, go on.
So I work full time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I go and help John. When John has big jobs, I go and help him.
Yeah.
But I do stuff. I don't go looking for drone work anymore because I really enjoy the job that I do.
Yeah,
I've got a company car. I don't work Saturdays and Sundays. I finish at 1:30 in the afternoon. I can go
Oh,
and
God.
fly to my heart's fly to my heart's content. I
yeah,
did all the chasing of this and published this, did that. And I got to one niche, and I'm sticking to my one niche. I will help John with his stuff, but I have one of the property places around here that sells very exclusive, expensive houses. And every 3, 4 times a month, Tony, can you come and do photos for us? Because they seen my footage somewhere else, and
yeah.
they said, oh, we'll get you to do a couple of them to see if they were. And since that, and I've been now doing that for 2 years, and that pays for my new drones. So I
Nice.
got that one niche. I'm not chasing everything else. I got what makes money for me and what keeps me happy with my full-time job.
Yeah.
And that's a really important realization, right? Is the whole, actually, do you want to be doing this as a full-time job? Because what I found is, speaking from personal experience, I went from really enjoying flying my model helicopters and planes at the weekend to I was away for 6 weeks at a time, flying for film and TV and all that sort of stuff, flying big rigs that were worth £250,000 a time by the time you put a
Well,
camera on them, right? You would look at that and think, oh, and I was charging £2,000 a day to go out and do that as well. Like it wasn't. I was charging people a lot of money because I'd specialised in one
Mhm.
certain thing, and
Yeah.
I built my reputation up and all that sort of stuff, which took quite a long time, a couple of years to get to. But all of a sudden, then it becomes a job like any other job,
Mm.
and actually, if anything, it became worse because you've not got an office to go to Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. You are. It sounds really glamorous. Oh yeah, I was in Bermuda for 6 weeks chasing around boats and blah blah blah. But you know what? When you've got to go to bed early because you've got to be up for a 4 o'clock call in the morning. It's a 2 hour journey to work. You've got to make sure that the drones are ready, maintain, batteries are done, logs are done. You've got to get all the equipment onto the boat. Like, it was knackering doing all of that. Same when
Yeah.
we were out in Morocco filming out there, same in Peru and all these amazing places. And I'm not saying it wasn't an amazing thing to be able to go and do, but it becomes a job like any other.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, paid a lot of money at the time for doing it. But you've got to, you lose the love then, right? Like now, I have very little interest in picking up my Mini 3 Pro that's upstairs and going flying because I've done so much of it. You've
Yeah.
lost the buzz of getting
Passion.
your drone out and going flying. And it was the same in the military, right? You look at the guys and girls tooling around at low level in the Mach loop and stuff, and you think, "Whoa, that's awesome!" And it is awesome. But what you don't realise is that there's 5 years of work all day, every day, till late at night, getting up early in the morning to just get to the point where you can get in that cockpit. And like by the time you finish one of those low level sorties going through the Mach loop, you are knackered, and you land, you put everything away, you do the debrief, and it's like you see the 2 hours of flying, but you don't realize there's 6 hours of prep before and after that go into that sortie. So yeah, it's really interesting. And that distinction, sorry, is really important. Like, do you really want to make money from it and make it your full-time job, or do you want to do it as something that pays for the hobby and allows you to buy the next cool DJI toy tool that comes out?
I think that you asked me a question when you did the podcast with me, and I said that one of the things that I've noticed from other individuals that I talk to, there's two main questions. One is, what drone should I get? How much should I spend on it, etc., etc. Well, maybe you can cover that answer next, okay, Matt. All right, but before that, you said, well, what do I do to go out there? Well, I actually joined 2 networking clubs in Bournemouth, for example. So I'm sat in a room with 60 people, and of those 60 people, half of them I can sell to. And in
Yeah.
fact, I said to you, the first day I was there, I got 6 orders. So when we did talk about the first 30 days, what can you do? Now, people who watch this will go, I got business cards. Yeah, business cards cost nothing.
Yeah.
Fact,
Sorry.
I've got one of your business cards. I found it in a pub in London. You can have a business card. You can have a business card.
but it's part of the marketing. Now we got, I appreciate more. It's now iPhone, all that sort of thing. But I'm old school as well. But I will go face to face. I'll meet people and knock on doors. But the thing is that when I'm talking to people, and this is one of the things that resonates with me so much that drone pilots should be doing, is that if you sat on a table of 6 people and you turn around and say, "Oh, I do car insurance and home insurance," okay, and you're going, "Oh, bloody hell." Now, no offense to people who do that. I'm just saying to you, at networking events, it's not very motivating. But if you sit there and go, "I'm a drone pilot and I film this," they go, "Really? Where are you going? What have you done?" You're not really going to get that negativity thrown back into your face. And when you're making outbound calls or emailing people, and as Tony will tell you, I get us into a lot of places because I'm persistent. I mean, hopefully Wednesday, I know today's Monday. Wednesday, I've got a big announcement and a second big announcement. Friday, there'll be more news. But it's all due to persistence. And to be in this business full time, you've got to be thick-skinned, got to be able to do that. And so I haven't got a problem going out because I cannot sit here and wait for the phone to ring because it won't. And if people believe that, then more for them. So, but
And
I'll let you answer the second part of the question that I always get asked is like, what drone should I get, John, for my business?
yeah, well, I'll answer that in a second.
Okay.
The first question you asked me for the 2 mistakes that people make,
Yes,
right?
the second one, yeah.
So and it's dead easy now because you've done it for me. Because the first mistake is that thinking that getting the drone and the website and the qualification is the way forward. The second one is expecting that work's going to come to you and not expecting that you're going to have to get out there and speak to people and sell what you can do to help them. And you've just nailed it there, right? So they're the two big things. When it comes to picking a drone that's right for you, again, there's a million different variables, different factors that you've got to weigh up. Fundamentally, do you want to be doing like Tony, going out and enjoying yourself, enjoying the hobby, enjoying what it is, maybe earning a little bit on the side to pay for the next bits of drones or whatever it might be? If that's the case, buy whatever you're comfortable and can afford, because if I'm honest, any drone nowadays, is 10 times better than the helicopters that we were flying for Warner Brothers back in 2010.
No,
right? 10 times more. And we needed a transit van to carry that and all the equipment around in, right? So the fact that you can have in your pocket now, the controller and the drone that can shoot in 4K or whatever it is unbelievable. So the drone isn't the thing that's holding you back. That's the big one. So it doesn't matter.
That was I was kind of leading you down to my next question.
Yeah.
I've helped you on the second part. I'm going to help.
Thanks,
I'm not going to help you. I'm going to say to you, and this can be a tough question, but it can be made easy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll read the question to you, so therefore you can answer it. Okay, yeah. What mindset shift separates operators from true business owners?
Ooh.
Effort.
There you go. Effort.
No, hang on.
Persistence. I think for me the big mindset shift, usually for me to say, the biggest mindset shift is, I would say, working your way backwards from what you need to where you've got to be. So a lot of people, if you're just operating and maybe you're going out part-time, learning to fly your drone, wanting to make some money from it, you'll go, okay, cool. I'm going to charge 350 quid a day and I'm going to put it on my website and I'm going to get out there to anyone who wants me or needs me and get out and fly. The difference is when you then sit down one Sunday morning and go, okay, cool. It's kind of working, kind of not. So I've either got to make a decision now. Do I commit myself to going, to being full-time at work, 9 to 5, and have this as a hobby and come up with a plan in my 9 to 5 to make that better? Or do I commit to, okay, cool, this is the plan. My 9 to 5, I get £28,000 a year, right? Whatever it might be. That is this much a month, which is this much a week, which is this much a day. How many days do I need to be out flying to be able to cover that? Or more importantly, if there's 200 flying days a year, how much do I need to charge each day to cover my overheads, my costs, my equipment, my insurance, my bill, everything, to make sure I cover those and make a profit and be able to reinvest in my future? And I think that for me is the big mindset shift where you go, okay, cool. I'm not just flying a drone now. I am looking at fact-based, logic-based, not I want to do this because it's awesome and it's exciting and new. It's like, no, this is what I need to do to make this happen. And when you flick that switch and make that decision, and it's not a decision in terms of jumping straight in, it's just looking at those metrics and thinking about it like a business owner. And here's the big one with that, right? Nowadays, there is no excuse. If that's the way you want to go, there's no excuse for sitting around going, oh yeah, I could have done that, or I wish I'd done that. Get ChatGPT out in your pocket and tell it all about you and what you're trying to achieve, and tell it to work as a financial advisor or a chief financial officer or whatever it might be, a business development, you're my right-hand business development person. This is what I want to do. How do I do it safely and efficiently? And all of a sudden then you start having those conversations. Again, don't take everything AI says as gospel, right? But I think coaches like myself are going to, for the lower level work that we do, are going to be made effectively redundant. We're going to be made useless because chat now gives out the same advice I would have given out, but it's 12 quid a month or free, depending on what plan you're on, right? Does that make sense?
Can I add one thing to that, please?
Yeah.
Matt? This is something that now that I'm doing this full time and I've got 5 jobs at the moment that I can't complete. And one of the things that you need to be, not you know this, but doing this business, if you're going to start into it, there are conditions that you have no control over, and that's the weather. So November, December, January, I've had, I think I've written down somewhere, 19 days you can't fly
Yeah.
because the wind speed's either gusting 40 plus or thrashing rain. And the weather forecast for the next 2 days down here in Bournemouth, I mean, it's absolutely thrashing outside.
There's a storm
And
tonight.
we've got 2 storms coming in, okay, yeah? We've got an
Yeah.
orange warning, amber warning. So, that's actually nothing I can do. What I try and do is those days that I'm not doing it, but I asked ChatGPT, it couldn't give me a good enough answer. I was going to quote it on here, but I can't because I don't trust it. But one of the things you've got to think about, you're saying about 300 days a year. Well, of those 300 days a year, how many of those days how many days a year do we have wind speeds gusting over 40 miles an hour? It'll tell you what, out of those 400 days, we get on average 30 days. How many days a year does it rain in the UK?
Yeah.
So therefore, when you're doing your facts and figures, you've got to go, I've got 300 sunny days. No, you bloody haven't got 3 sunny days. That's where you've got to go, well, on those days, I've got to do paperwork, invoicing, so-and-so, marketing, phone calls, door knocking,
Yeah.
cold calling. And that's, you got, and go, right, I've got to do that. So today I did that. I mean, I banged on doors, talking to people, got a couple of little bits coming in because it's raining. So you've got to make use of your time management as well if you're going to do this.
Yeah, big time.
I think you also have to be committed. So there's no point saying, I won't do anything next week. I'll leave it to the week after. The weather, 2 weeks time, you're stuffed. The weather might be rubbish. If somebody phones you up and says, got this for you, do it properly, go and do it. If you're not doing anything else, don't put it off.
Yeah.
I think also, I do tell people
absolutely.
exactly what you can and can't. I'll quote where the no-fly zones, all that sort of thing, give me information so they're not on my case.
Yeah. It was, interestingly, over all the years we were doing the operations, 200 flying days a year in the UK was what we used to account for. So all of our figures, if we had 5 staff and we knew how much we were paying them, we knew that our top line revenue needed to cover 5 people's wages plus bills. So all of a sudden you take those 200 days and you need to be doing $4,000 a day in revenue to be able to generate enough money to pay everybody. So that was how we did it. We always used 200 days as operational days. But like you say, around that, there's a lot of work that you can do then. But don't expect any weekends off, right? That's not how being self-employed works.
Question for you though, Matt. I mean, I read in the press and I read in a variety of areas about collaboration and working together with other drone pilots. I see that there's more and more talk of that happening at the moment. What's your view on that? Is it something that, I've got connections with people up and down the country that I can call upon. A lot of that has come through a drone show. I also have, obviously, Tony's Superb. If I have to go and do something, I need 2 people or 3 people, I can call upon those experienced pilots with their amazing equipment. So I don't have a problem there. But I do see now more and more collaborations going on. Where do you see that going? Should that be part of your business plan moving forward?
It's the only way to make a sustainable business, I think, now in this industry. And this is where this whole I preach about it all the time, where you pick a niche, you pick a vertical or a client within the market that you can serve.
Yeah.
But because what you can then do is partner and collaborate with other people who can serve the other elements of the industry as a professional within that space. And what you then get is, like you found, I guess, I'm speculating now, but if they get someone calling them or emailing them that says, "Oh, can you do this?" They either say, "Yes, I can," and they'll get you, pass you the details and you can go and do it together or whatever it might be. Or they'll say, "No, I can't, but I know someone who can and I trust them." And that now, one of the guys I helped out at the very beginning, James Singleton, professional FPV pilot, that's the route he's gone down. Is he specializes in doing his thing and he is damn good at it and gets paid a lot of money for it now.
Lives in Reading?
Yeah.
I know James.
Lives in Reading. Yeah.
Yeah, he's borrowed my Mavic 3 to go and do some jobs.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
and
small world.
that's the kind of collaboration piece, right? Like, it means that if you need something or you need someone, he now collaborates with loads of different people. If anyone calls anyone in his network and says, can I have someone to come and do this FPV piece for film or TV or whatever it might be, they're like, yep. And they call James and he goes and does it on their behalf. And, might white label, he might go and do it himself, but that's how it works. Likewise, if someone calls him and says, can you come and film this boat out at sea doing these things or whatever it might be? He's like, yep, no problem at all. And they'll go out and do it. And they're actually building their own production company now, aerial production company, based around a bunch of those guys getting together because they've helped each other out so much. It's it's the only way to do it.
Other, I'm saying people watching don't know them. I'm making assumptions here, but you and I have spoken before. But as you know, I have a mixed bag of business within the sector that I'm focusing on, and I get retainers where I try and go into these marketing companies and say, look, there's going to be a lot of things that we can do, a lot of content that we can work together, rather than do a one-off specific. I then get retained, and going back to the amount of days per money I've got to earn per month. So as long as I've got 4 or 5 retainers that are charging 500-600 quid, I've earned my month's money. The rest of it's just bunch money. So that's where my sort of business model has gone to,
Yes.
on which I had them working, had that flourishing, and I also charge them on top of that work, and that work has also gone very, very well at the moment. But where would you suggest, if someone's watching today, how would they okay, let's rephrase the question. Why would they go to 6 marketing companies like I did and say, look, I don't want the client, I want to be your supplier of this content to your clients?
Again, kind of the big one with that is, what's the business model that you want to go after? So, and again, this comes back down to that mindset shift of, am I going to go out and fly my drone, or am I going to turn this into a viable business? Because it's one of those, to be honest, you actually want to get away from relying on the 200 flying days a year as quickly as possible. But that's normally the stepping stone that people need to be able to go, okay, cool, I've got to charge this much per day to be able to break away from my 9 to 5. If you can get into a place where you are on a retainer for a production company, for example, or for a media company, and you do that for 5 or 6 different companies, which people like yourself are doing, and I know lots of other people in the industry are starting to do now, that is the peak way to be able to take a breather and know that you've got a guaranteed income every month. Of course, you've got to be able to deliver on your promises, and and over deliver if you can. That's always a way to delight your customers and make them come back again, because if you can get a customer back, you haven't got to pay to acquire them. And that's the most expensive part of any business process. And again, I'm deliberately kind of saying things like that, because if people don't know what the cost of acquisition and LTV, the lifetime value of a customer, is, this is why you need to go and learn this stuff. All right, because it's super important to business. But yeah, that's, rather than going out and speaking to 100 people to get 10 clients, I would always prefer to speak to 10 people to get 100 clients if possible, right? So that's when that network piece comes in. And that's what we did when we went to, when I first started. The way I got into the movie industry and the film industry was by, I looked at where my ideal clients were, and they were at Pinewood Studios. I went and got an office at Pinewood Studios. I sat in the cafe at Pinewood in my drone hoodie and t-shirt every day at lunchtime when the crews would come in. Every day for about 4 months, I was there at lunchtime, and I'd go away and do all my work and then go and sit in there and like, oh, hey, you get to know people. Oh, you're the drone guy. Yeah, I'm the drone guy. We're the drone guys. We've got the big, oh, it's your truck outside with the wrap on. Yeah, that's ours. And then one day we got a phone call say, oh, our guys have just crashed the drone. Have you got a drone on site? Like, yeah. Are you clear to fly on site? Oh, yeah. Can you come fly for us? Yeah, I guess so. Went and flew for them. And that was us then doing, James Bond type stuff. And you think, and they never went back to their original people. But by getting the one gig there, they spoke to 10 other people, and we got all the inquiries, and they were like, you need to use these guys because they're amazing. And then we got a couple of production companies, and they got all of the Bermuda Cup, the America's Cup in Bermuda, and Sail GP and all that sort of stuff. So we stopped actually having to do any outreach at all, because the companies that trusted us were the ones going out doing all the business development.
Do you know what? Can I just share a very small story? I know we've still got 11, 12 minutes to go, but I just want to share this story from what happened. Is that when I went to the first networking meeting, I identified the people in the room that I wanted to work with. And the lady that run the networking event called TBN was also, she owned Total Dorset Guide to Business, Total this, Total Bristol, Total what. I thought I need her business, so I took a beeline and I took her flying. I went down to Portkey. Come down, I'll buy you coffee. Really? She went to Connecticut with coffee, went flying. I did a little video for her. The rest is history, because now, when she's in the room, I've got this video. Oh, John's done this, John's done that, John's done this, John's done that, John's. So I've got 50, 60 people in the room going, bloody hell, John's done all that, has he? I need to talk to him. So she's telling me. So I'm now retained for her. So I now work for, I even got Tony working for me in Reading. A few bits I've got to work on. But
Buys me lunch.
Yeah,
Nice.
Whatever. No, but I tried to offer to pay Tony. Tony's going, no, just get me lunch or breakfast, and fair play to him. He's up to him what he wants out of it. But no, so I've got these people now working for me, putting forward and they're going, can you go and film the illuminations? Can you go and film the train? Can you go and film this? So I think that's a good thing. If you start a business, try and get someone who's going to promote you on their books and get you moving. But
yeah, big time.
One thing I do, sorry, Tony, one last thing for Matt. I want to get this point across, yeah? And it has helped me a couple of times and not a couple of times, right? Freebies.
Yeah.
Lost leaders, right? Now,
Yeah.
in business, you talk to most business people, they go, don't do freebies, don't do lost leaders. I've done a couple, all right? And I've got the bigger contracts out of it.
Yeah.
So it has worked. I've done a couple where it hasn't worked. Where do you stand on it?
It's tricky because
It also depends what the situation is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's still got to fly, still time, still money.
Yeah, I think it's one of those that, unfortunately, when you're first starting out, you might have to do some things for free. Mm-hmm. Now, it's really interesting because I spoke to someone who was a professional salesperson a couple of years ago, and they were like, you need to stop giving away things for free and give them away on a complimentary basis. So you're giving someone something on a complimentary basis. And I was like, that's really interesting. And I'd never thought about that. And again, it's that always learning, the psychology piece, when you look into it, of, okay, cool, I'm not going to come and do a free 60-second drone video for you. But what I will do is I'll do a complimentary marketing sting for you that you can put up on your Instagram stories if you put my logo on it. And they're like, oh, okay, because then you haven't devalued yourself. You've not given anything away for free. What you've actually done is delivered them some value.
Do you know what I did, Matt, after one of our conversations? And we never talked about it in the podcast, but I remember my old boss would always go, never free, always add, if they want a telephone system, send a voicemail or whatever. So what I now do, and I had a conversation last night about this actually, someone said, oh, I want to sell 10 photographs and one video. And I'm going, well, first and foremost, most of the content needs to be vertical, 619 rather than 916. I said, I now offer a media pack. If the drone is there, it takes 11 seconds, 12 seconds to do some more photographs, to do a sphere, which they can put on Facebook. So I say to them, well, actually what you get from me is a pack. In that pack is this, this, and this. So that is the cost for your photographs. But in fact, you're going to get a lot of value add. If I'm driving there and I've got a battery and the drone's up, why not do photographs and videos, a bit of a time lapse or whatever? You're going to be there. It doesn't take more than 15 minutes. And they think they're going to get, oh my God, I've got a time lapse, I've got this, I've got that. And all of a sudden you've changed the conversation from free to what I call it a little media pack, but you can bundle it. It's like a bundle. You can call it whatever you want. And that has worked for me actually quite well in the last sort of 2 weeks.
Yeah. Interesting.
I've got a really good question for you that was sent in to us, which is really apt for what you're going to be doing in the future. It says, Matt, what would you do differently if you had to start again today?
I'd probably stay in a 9 to 5 and try and get promoted. No.
No. 5:30 to 1:30.
That's it. There's a couple of things. I would have tried to learn a lot more at the start of my journey rather than getting into it, implementing what I thought was right at the time and learning as I went along, but thinking that I knew that what I was doing was right, and kind of ignoring people when they were like, "Oh, you need to be working on your marketing, working on your advertising, etc., etc." And I was like, marketing. And to be honest, I didn't even realize when I first started out that kind of marketing and sales were different functions within business. I just did it, and it's one of the things I think potentially about being maybe naturally entrepreneurial. You don't think about these things separately because you kind of understand it, but when you actually start to understand it, it makes a lot more sense. So aside from that, there's a couple of other things. If I was getting into it properly, and you're not just talking about buying maybe £1,000 drone or whatever it might be, I would never buy a drone. If it was an enterprise drone, I would have leased all of our enterprise drones. Again, I thought I knew what I was doing. I've only ever bought stuff kind of cash, don't rely on credit cards and stuff. If I can't afford it, I don't have it, right? Don't drive around in a really nice car because I can get it on finance. I drive around in a shitty car because I can afford it. Yeah. So, and I wish I had not spent 50 grand, 100 grand, when we'd got that cash in the bank in the business, on buying the next drone we needed or whatever it might be. And we only ever did it sensibly. So when we got a contract in to go and do the America's Cup, we knew what that contract was worth. So we went and spent the money on the drones and the batteries and stuff. I wish I'd leased it because I didn't understand cash flow properly. And that slowed down our growth. So I think getting proper financial advice from an accountant would be a big one, sooner than you think. And then the final part of that is, as soon as you can, well, before you even start, go online and get yourself a HubSpot account. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, or a CRM of your choice, right? But HubSpot's free when you start out. It gets expensive eventually, but it's free at first. You can put like 10,000 people in it or something. And that means that then you can track people coming into you. You can see what emails have been sent backwards and forwards. You can leave notes against them and stuff. And no matter how small you are, it doesn't matter because it will keep everything in order, and it will mean you can do your 9 to 5 and still manage your customers in a seamless way. So yeah, those are the things I would suggest. Learn as much as you can, as quick as you can. And that's what I'm trying to do at Drone Business Network, right? On the channel, I'm trying to do these kind of 7 or 8 minute videos that teach the vital 3 things you need to know to learn how to market yourself or generate leads.
We will put links on after this because you can't be inspired by listening to you today for an hour. I mean, I know we've only got about 4 minutes left. I have 2 burning, not questions, but 2 burning subjects that I want your opinion before we wrap it up, if I can, please, Matt. In no particular order. The first one, I want your opinion on AI, how AI is going to affect the drone company, drone community moving forward. And the second one is going to be these new infiltration of the 360 drones with the AI anti-gravity, and we hear about the Avata 3 and so on. If you could give us a 2-minute overview of how you think they're going to affect, and if businesses should, I know AI, yes, but whether 360 is where you think it can be going.
So AI, yes, I was very, very pro AI when it was kind of first coming out and first became a thing, because I think that if you understand it and know how to leverage it properly, you can get a lot out of it. I look at AI as a force multiplier almost. It's like if you've got good ideas, if you've got a good structure, if you've got a good way of thinking about things, it can work alongside you potentially to come out with 10 times more output than you might otherwise be able to do. Yeah. But you need to be able to write well to get good stuff out of AI. You need to understand the calculations for the business models and stuff to be able to get the right things out of AI. So it's not, I don't think for me, AI isn't the kind of the silver bullet that a lot of people think it's going to be. And I think if anything, it's going to be like the internet was. You'll get some people who manage to leverage it properly and make themselves bazillionaires off the back of AI, like Jeff Bezos started selling books on the internet because he thought he could. Everyone thought he was stupid. Yeah, everyone thought he was stupid and it'd never work. Who's laughing now? And I think it's going to be similar. There'll be some people that leverage AI and it takes them to the moon. the majority of the rest of us, it'll just be a tool that's there that kind of we use every day, but it isn't something. So that's my take on AI. I don't think it will fundamentally affect the drone world necessarily. It's going to be amazing when it comes to being able to do your follow me and return to home stuff without bumping into things, maybe. But outside of that, I don't think it's going to do much. The other, sorry, mate, what was the other one? I've gone off on AI now.
360 drones that are now
360
coming on
drones.
the marketplace.
I think there's going to be a bit like FPV. When FPV first came out, it was like, oh my God, I've got to get FPV. And you start seeing FPV shots everywhere like when drones first came out, you started seeing drone shots used in every single TV ad, commercial, Coronation Street, everything. They were everywhere. And now it's been scaled back a bit. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, we're bored of drone shots now. Let's use the drone as a tool to move a camera, which is what we've always done in film and TV. It was the same with FPV. FPV comes out, everyone's going nuts for it. Oh, wow, drones going everywhere. Whoa, this is wicked. Now there's a handful of people around the world doing FPV to a very high level, and when it adds to the conversation, I think it's going to be the same with the 360 stuff. But I do think that the 360 stuff is going to have a slower uptake than... I don't think there'll be an explosion of 360 content because there's no real way to view it that's not like having to move your phone around or... I suppose the advantage for me, the advantage in my mind, the reason I've got a Insta360 camera when I go flying in a real plane, I can put it on because then I can choose what I want to show people when I'm flying. That's cool. But again, you've then got to become a good editor to be able to tell a story. It's like any drone, right? It's just a way of moving a camera around. This just is a slightly different way of moving a camera around.
Matt, what can I say? Thank you for coming onto the show and sharing your wise words. All I can say to everybody who has listened to Matt for 1 hour and 1 minute, hopefully you've been inspired. Hopefully you've take some knowledge away. It may well be that you say, I'm not going to do this, or I am going to do it, or maybe I'm going to do it this way and just change it around. What I will do is at the bottom of the YouTube descriptions, I will put all the links, all the information, because believe me, if you want to sit there and just click through Matt's website and Matt's podcasts and these nuggets of information, they're fantastic. And even, I know I did a podcast, listen to me for an hour again, you can if you want to, about what I did and how I did it. But there are other people on there that have come up with some absolutely phenomenal information. Now, even I've not had time to watch every single one of Matt's videos, but I do play catch up on most of them. So all I can say to you, Matt, is thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. Safe travels. I look forward to seeing you in the UK in a few weeks' time. And you have an invitation to join the Drone Show live anytime you want to, my friend. And hopefully we will arrange for a meetup or a road show in the very near future.
I look forward to it. Yeah, coming to a drone show near you soon.
Before we go, when does Blue Sky start?
Yeah, so we've got a wait list up at the moment. So there's a simple one-page website at the moment. Nothing special on there. Just if I'm honest, to start getting the SEO engine turning. But yeah, we're going to be working with the CAA. We're hoping that it obviously takes a while for their approval, but with how things are going, we're hoping that around about kind of the start to the middle of April will be when we're able to actually start putting people through the exams itself. But we've got the website up there. Join the wait list if you're interested. But we are going to be putting out 2 to 3 minute bite-sized videos on the new YouTube channel. So we've got a new YouTube channel for it, talking about the rules and regulations and things like the flashing lights and stuff, just so people haven't got to sit through a 40-minute show or whatever it might be listening. It's just type in the question, kind of get the answer. So that'll be going live very soon, next couple of weeks.
Can I invite you? We don't, as Tony keeps saying, we don't sell things on the Facebook page. I know the A2 is part of a sales process, but if I can invite you that once it's live, working, operational, please do put some information on our Facebook page, and either Tony or myself will approve it and get that up for you. But
we don't have to approve it. Matt's got pre-approvals.
Has he?
Oh,
Okay.
nice. This is the other
There you
thing,
go.
right? Anyone who's ever, hopefully anyone who's ever worked for me or knows how we work, I don't sell anything. Like, I just give away as much help and advice for free as possible. And if people want to join or find something, then they will. And it's great to have people on board in that respect, you know, helping us help more people. But outside of that, yeah, I'll pop up. Yeah, it'd be lovely to pop a message up and let people know. But by no means should anyone feel obliged. If you've got questions, send them in and I'll answer them for free. That's how I work, right? So
Thank you, Matt. Much
I, I,
appreciated.
I will just say one thing before I go. I 100% recommend do the A2. I did the A2 CFC. As it said, I better score than Ian and nothing. But, but seriously, the knowledge you get from you'll sit and watch people on YouTube and they'll tell you this and they'll tell you that. 100% A2 CFC. I got all the knowledge I needed and all the information that helped me get to where I am. 100%.
amazing.
When Matt puts that up, go and check it out. Perfect. The
Thank you,
show
chaps.
is yours, John.
Thank you. Well, all I can say now is thank you again, Matt. Thank you, Tony. Please watch the show, enjoy it, and we'll be seeing a lot more Matt in the coming months. So thank you for your time.
Don't forget thumbs up, share, like, comment. We will see
That's it.
everybody Wednesday. Matt, thank you so much. You're a superstar. I can't wait.
You're
I know you probably don't want to come back to the UK because it's blowing a hoolie. But
Well,
we will.
mid snowstorm here at the moment, so yeah, we're
That was
lucky
one
the
of my
power's
questions.
stayed on. Yeah,
Yeah, that was one of my questions. How deep has the snow been?
I think we've got about 2 and a bit meters of snow outside at the moment, so it's
Whoa,
pretty
that's it.
intense. That's about that much, yeah. I've got to go
Anyway.
and dig the truck out right now, actually, after this, so we can go and get the kids from school.
Matt,
Thank you,
you're
Matt.
a superstar. Really appreciate you coming on here. And everybody, we'll put all links in later. Check out Matt's blogs, the whole lot. Perfect. We will see everybody next Wednesday.